In the spirit of our favourite holiday, I'm counting every single bloody impalement and beheading in the latest Treehouse of Horror, and this may be the highest body count yet, so stick around to the end of the video to find out just how many kills there are.
Oh, this works on 2 levels, blood and guts.
I'm Lydia, and this is the Treehouse of Horror 32 kill count. If at the end of this video your bloodthirst is still not satisfied and you crave more blood, horror and Halloween goriness, well, I have a very special 30-day free trial just for you for Shudder. Get started streaming the best horror, thriller and supernatural content. Shudder's expertly curated collection includes must-see titles like Vicious Fun, The Mortuary Collection and PG Psycho Gorman, plus all the best horror documentaries and the hit CREEPSHOW TV series from executive producer Greg Nicotero of The Walking Dead. But personally, I'd really recommend the Shudder Original VHS 94. Much like the Treehouse of Horror series, it's an anthology with various creepy segments, super gory, and the effects are absolutely brilliant. And it's not just me either, it's got 95% on Rotten Tomatoes too, and it's only available on Shudder. So you can watch this and tons of other TV shows and movies ad-free on Shudder for only $5.99 a month, or $56.99 a year. Try Shudder for free for 30 days by going to shudder.com and use my code Simpsons Theory. That's shudder.com using my code Simpsons Theory. The episode starts with a Disney-inspired opening, and almost immediately, a cute little possum and a raccoon are killed. But without getting too pedantic, I'm only counting animals who play a character. We see Bart as Bambi and Milhouse as Thumper, being warned by Marge to shush as a hunter has entered the forest. This is right before Milhouse's head is blown completely off. Yikes. And then there is poor Al Frank, who is then shot out of a tree. Bart scarpers from suffering the same fate as his friend, and luckily for him, unlike the original Bambi, no mother dies here, because in this twist, the hunter is killed instead. Stag Homer comes along and impales Mr. Burns with his antlers before he and Lenny chow down on him. But I don't think they'll get too much meat out of this guy.
Why, thank you, Simpson. I have been watching my figure.
Maggie Simpson then flies onto the screen like Tinkerbell to reveal the title card. Even though Disney now owns The Simpsons, the creators aren't afraid to throw shade at their corporate overlords. They've been doing it for years.
I'm the mascot of an evil corporation.
Next up, we see the Simpsons family living in a flooded basement in a parody of the movie Parasite. In a sneaky little side gag, we can see a reference to Mr. Sparkle, as we can see a little detergent box from this season 8 episode.
Hey, he looks like you.
To escape from their damp dwellings, the family are then hired by the rich elite Rainier Wolfcastle to be his help. But the Simpsons family realise that there are others living in the mansion too.
Parasite!
Jeez, how many people live down here?
Sideshow Mel then explains the allegory, emphasis on the gory, as Kurt grabs Mel's bones, which isn't as dirty as it sounds, and stabs him with it. This leads to an all-out brawl across the house, and amongst the chaos, Mr. Burns can be seen looking down from above, not a care in the world, while Smithers is stabbed in the back. But Monty Burns isn't safe for very long and becomes a victim to the mob. The next morning, there are bodies here, there and everywhere. Supporting this scene right here, I counted 52 bodies in this picture. And I counted a further 29 bodies stacked up over here in this pile. Also during this segment, there's an itchy and scratchy short playing on TV called Doe Piercer, which is a reference to Bong Joon-ho's 2013 film Snowpiercer. In it, Itchy stabs Scratchy in the head with a fork. The next segment is called Nightmare on Elm Tree, and before you say it's been done before, no, this isn't a Freddy Krueger parody like in Treehouse 6. It opens with Bart telling his sisters spooky stories in the treehouse. Funny because this is the first time we see the Simpsons swapping tales in the treehouse since the very first special, hence the origin and the name, Treehouse of Horror. It only took us 31 years to get back here again. Anyway, scared of the stories, Lisa and Maggie run into their parents' room and ruin their snuggle time, which annoys poor frustrated Homer.
Every year, 3 scary stories. 2 of them good and a lame one in the middle.
Enraged by listening to these horror stories for over 30 years, he grabs his axe and attempts to chop down the tree, but a lightning bolt strikes, bringing it to life. After throwing Homer into the wall that luckily doesn't kill him, it strides into town where it finds people watching Guardians of the Galaxy at the drive-in.
You're real mature, laughing at a brain-damaged tree.
Offended, he throws a car containing Clancy and Sarah Wiggum through the screen. He then swats Frank miles and miles away. The tree then barks back to its legion of trees, awakening them with an aim to destroy humanity. When Kirk picks an apple, the tree rips his arm off, but seeing as we don't see him die here, we're not counting it as a kill, as this isn't his first rodeo, having lost his arm before.
I told that idiot to slice my sandwich. Ow!
As Ken Brockman reports on the vengeful trees, he is stabbed right through the chest by a tree trunk. The townsfolk stand ready to defend their own, threatening to chop the trees down. In defense, the trees shake their leaves to release pollen, causing everyone's allergies to flare up. When Willie sneezes, he accidentally chainsaws his arms off. And then they start killing everyone else, including Lenny.
Not Lenny!
Next up, Mo, Snake and Lou are impaled. Disco Stu and Otto are killed next, and poor Hans Moleman gets a beehive stuck on his head. That little peanut cannot catch a break.
Oh no, my brains.
At the same time, poor little Ralph is sucked up into the branches. The trees then go on to massacre everyone else, and I counted 17 people right here, excluding the ones I mentioned before. The trees then pile the townsfolk onto Jebediah Springfield's statue, and they sing carols around the corpses. The final victim is Comic Book Guy, who is hacked apart by an axe. This segment is hugely reminiscent of Night of the Dolphin. It's got revenge, things that shouldn't march marching, battles, mobs, and impalements left, right, and center. And whether or not that's a good thing or a bad thing, I'll leave to your imaginations. Next up, we see Vincent Price reading a creepy book to Maggie for a bedtime story. In these stories, Bart is being a little brat and causing havoc, resulting in him slicing the heads off his entire family. Although this is a very short segment, I absolutely love this animation style. The Treehouse specials always allow the creators to experiment with different art styles that they just can't do with regular episodes. I also love the Edna scene gazing at a picture of Woodrow, which is of course a callback to season 3's Bart the Lover. This segment ends with Maggie strangling Vincent Price with her toy. The final segment is Dead Ringer, a Ring-inspired parody, but instead of a videotape that kills you 7 days later after watching it, it's a TikTok video. The first kids to die are twins Sherry and Terry, who are beheaded.
I killed Jerry and Larry.
Milhouse is then stabbed in the back by 8 knives. To put a stop to the killings, Lisa vows to investigate, so she talks to groundskeeper Willie, who tells her the story of Mopey Mary, a second grader who was given rabbit droppings as a Valentine's Day gift, and so she threw herself into a well, staying undiscovered until 7 days later. To confront Mopey Mary, Lisa watches the video herself and demands to be killed right there and then.
So, come and get me now.
The dead girl then crawls out of the TV when Lisa offers to be her friend. But Lisa's smothering friendship becomes way too much, and Mary soon prefers the cold damp darkness of the well to Lisa's clinginess, jumping straight back in all over again. This episode ends with Kang and Kodos complaining that they were crammed into the episode last minute. Since the very first Treehouse episode, the alien duo have appeared in every single Treehouse of Horror since. Sometimes they play a large role, like in Citizen Kang.
It's a two-party system. You have to vote for one of us.
And sometimes they're crammed in last minute. Either way, their appearances are a staple of these specials, so it's no wonder they feel all high and mighty when it comes to Halloween. So, Treehouse of Horror 32 ends with 128 kills, and it's 131 if you want to include those 3 animal kills as well. If you're absolutely dying to know the overall kills of every single Treehouse special, then stay tuned for the 24th of October, where I'll be releasing the complete Treehouse of Horror kill count. I'll be combining all the previous kill counts into one huge video, adding in all the deaths I missed out with some super duper fun facts along the way. Finally, if you're a fan of my timeline videos, then I've just released the complete timeline of Rick Sanchez onto Screen Portal. I've done videos on Family Guy, Futurama, and South Park, so just click the link in the description to check those out now. And finally, I'd like to thank my newest Flying Hellfish members, David and Ross Graham. Thank you so much for supporting the channel, it means a huge amount to me, thank you. And of course, a big thank you to my other Flying Hellfish members. We have Timothy, One Drama Boy, Steve, Charlie, Sean, Stefan, Robert, Ashley, Glenford, Devin, Gadrak, Stephen, Edward, Anthony, Nicola, Jeffrey, Abby, Dominic, Cody, Chaz, Jeff, Gil, Shadu, Murray, Paul, Henry, Frank, Lucas, Omer, Eric, Thomas, Samantha, Rayleigh, Laurent, Daniel, Brendan, Jessica, Shivendra, Holly, Jason, Molly, Jack, Doug, Eli, David, and Ross.